Trying to find your way after a medical pregnancy loss, it's one of those experiences that's just so hard to put into words, isn't it? So what we want to do here is just create a gentle space, a place to start understanding that journey of healing.
Hello, I am about to have a medical abortion at 20 weeks gestation. Please, those who have been through this, comment, how did you cope? It is very difficult for me.
You know, when you hear that, you can just feel the pain and the courage in that question. It's truly a call for connection, coming from a place where someone is feeling so vulnerable. And our goal here is to respond to that call with all the compassion and clarity we can offer.
First things first, it is absolutely essential to acknowledge that the clinical language we often use, it just doesn't work here. It fails to capture what's really happening emotionally. What a doctor might call a procedure is, for the person experiencing it, something so much more. It's a deeply profound and personal loss.
So where do you even begin with healing? Well, sometimes it can be incredibly powerful just to have a framework, a name for what you're feeling. And this isn't about slapping a label on it, not at all. It's about recognizing your experience and giving it the legitimacy it absolutely deserves.
In psychology and medicine, the term used is perinatal loss. And look, this is so much more than just jargon. It's a way for professionals, for organizations like the World Health Organization, to formally say, yes, your grief is real. It is valid. It confirms that what you're going through is a known, significant part of the human experience.
And this just gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The grief isn't just for the pregnancy itself. It's for everything that was tied to it. It's a loss of dreams, of plans, of a whole future you were building in your mind. That is the immense weight you're carrying. And I need you to hear this. It is completely, 100% okay to mourn all of it.
Okay, so how do you even begin to navigate something like this? The most important thing to remember is that there are no rules for grief. There's no right way to do it. But there are pathways, things that other people have found helpful. So think of these less like a rigid checklist and more like gentle invitations for coping.
We're going to look at 4 key pathways here. First up, and this one is so crucial, allow yourself to grieve. Seriously. Grief is the natural response to loss. Giving yourself that space isn't selfish. It's a psychological necessity. Okay, second, try to separate the decision from the guilt. This is a big one. It's about consciously reframing a choice that was made out of love and necessity. Third, and you've already heard this, seek genuine support. Because grief can feel so isolating, and connection is the antidote to that. And finally, number 4, create a personal ritual. Rituals are powerful. They can help us process huge emotions that words can't even touch, giving us a tangible way to remember and honor the love.
And when we say seek support, what does that look like? Well, it could be talking with your partner or a really trusted friend, or maybe it means finding a psychologist who specializes in this specific kind of loss. And I want to add something really important here. Sometimes the people you love might be silent, and that silence can hurt. But please try to remember, it's almost always because they just don't know what to say, not because they don't care. Their silence doesn't make your pain any less real.
All right, let's talk about the emotional journey ahead. Just having a sense of what to expect can make you feel a little less alone, a little less like you're lost. Think of this less like a strict timeline and more like a map of the emotional terrain you might be traveling through.
In those first few days, you might just feel shock and pure physical exhaustion. Then, in the weeks that follow, you might get hit with these waves of deep sadness that seem to come out of nowhere. You could even have moments where things feel normal again, but there's still this kind of emptiness just under the surface. And through all of it, you might be wrestling with feelings of guilt, those painful what-if questions. That is all a very common part of this process.
And even though all of those feelings are normal, sometimes the weight of it all just becomes too much to carry by yourself. And that's okay. So the big question is, how do you know? How do you know when it might be time to reach out for more structured professional help?
So here are some things to just gently keep an eye on. If you're feeling a sense of hopelessness that just won't lift, or you're having panic attacks, or the guilt feels completely overwhelming, or you just can't seem to function day to day, these are all signals. They're signs that this trauma might be more than you can handle alone, and professional support could really help. Reaching out to a therapist isn't giving up. It is an incredibly courageous act of self-care.
You know, when we talk about healing, it's so important to be clear about something. Healing is not about forgetting. It's a process of learning to live with the loss, and the entire process is rooted in self-compassion. So let's look toward that horizon together.
And this might be the most important idea to hold on to. That immense pain you're feeling right now, it is not a sign that you're weak or that you did something wrong. Not at all. It is powerful, direct proof of the deep connection and love you felt. The pain is just a reflection of the love.
I know it might not feel like it right now, but the sharpness of this pain, that intensity that feels like it could break you, it will soften. It will. The memory, of course, will always be a part of you, but the grief itself will change. It will become part of your story, instead of being your whole story.
This whole journey, it's really taken one moment at a time. So the question isn't, how do I heal completely by tomorrow? The real question is about right now, this moment. What is one small way, just one tiny thing, you can do to offer yourself the compassion and the gentleness that you so deeply deserve today?